Hi, welcome to the Candy Chronicles. Today we're going to discuss, have you been a victim of manipulation? And was it your fault? And who's responsible for the fact that you believed the manipulations? So I'm referencing an article entitled, and I think this is from slate.com, entitled, Why Are Conservatives More Susceptible to Believing Lies? An interplay between how all humans think and how conservatives tend to act might actually explain a lot about our current moment, November 9th, 2017. Now, I'm going to read this quote, and it really reveals a lot about the author, and it reveals a lot about the statement. It says, we need to maintain a positive self-image to stave off anxiety and guilt, and to preserve social relationships. Now, when the author says we, the article is assuming we is all human beings. The author assumes that all human beings need to, and I think it's saying three things: maintain a positive self-image, to stave off anxiety, and to stave off guilt. Now, I'm here to tell you, normal, sane, healthy adults don't need to do that. Normal, sane, healthy adults are able to hold an image of themselves which is not positive. They are able to say, I screwed up, I made a mistake, I really flubbed it up. They're able to introspect and go, okay, what did I do that was wrong? How did it hurt somebody else? What can I do in the future to give myself a better result? And that's opposite of what I've been preaching to you about, which is the victim consciousness, which is all the things in my reality happen to me from outside me. Everything about my reality, about my self-concept, is about what's outside of me. So I just thought it was really apropos today. You know, I'm not wearing any makeup. So who I am, I look like this. Sometimes I look like the other videos where I have lots of makeup. Were you fooled? Did I manipulate you? You know, it's easy to see that somebody's wearing mascara or eyebrow pencil or lipstick. And there are some people who go through their lives and they have to have this image of themselves and how they look. Like I've looked in some of my other videos and they're like, I can't let anybody see me without makeup on. I can't let anybody see me, you know. If you look at these tabloids where they show movie stars at the beach with less than perfect thighs or something, the reality of normal, sane, healthy adults is not defined exclusively by what is outside of them. And normal, sane, healthy adults do not need to maintain a positive self-image. The way that we as an individual human being or we as a society can learn, grow, and evolve is to allow ourselves to not have a positive self-image. It is not necessary to stave off guilt. Guilt exists for a reason. Ideally, if you had a good enough parent or nurturer or caregiver when you were a child and you were guilty, someone should have taught you, if you are guilty, you need to own that. You need to own that self-image that I'm guilty. I did something wrong. I hurt somebody. I hurt something. I have guilt. I need to change my behavior. I need to understand how this affects somebody else. Children should have learned not to stave off guilt. Children should have learned to internalize appropriate guilt. And some of the virtue signaling and guilt thrown around today is just absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd when somebody says, you are a racist, you are a homophobe, you are this, you are that, labeling people because of what they imagine you are. But normal, sane, healthy adults, when somebody tells me, you're a racist, Okay, you're entitled to imagine that I'm a racist. I'm not going to debate it with you. I'm not going to have a debate with you about who I am, what my motivations are, what my thoughts are, what my opinions are, what my feelings are. You're perfectly entitled to believe anything you want. And let's go to anxiety. To stave off anxiety. The author of this article says that we need to stave off anxiety. Anxiety is a bad thing. If you start to feel anxiety, you've got to push it away. There's a great meditation on acceptance where we just accept what's in the world around us. We accept if the sun is shining or it's raining or it's cold or it's hot. We accept our external reality. And if our external reality is causing anxiety, that is an opportunity for us to learn and grow. That is an opportunity for us to take action or not take action. Anxiety, if you get an adrenaline rush, fight, flight, right? I didn't say fight or flight or freeze. And if we need to maintain a positive self-image and we need to stave off anxiety, that's not a normal, sane, healthy adult. That's not going to create a society that's good for everybody. If we are staving off guilt, which means we're not internalizing guilt, we're not accepting that our behavior affects others, we're not accepting that we could ever do something wrong because we have to maintain a positive self-image. Normal, sane, healthy adults do not have to maintain a positive self-image. They're able to look at themselves in a way that's not perfect. And I think that's what the problem is with our society today, is everybody's putting on makeup and they look perfect all the time and they're getting likes on their Facebook page and somebody behind some glowing box somewhere else is clicking something that looks like a thumb. And that's maintaining their positive self-image. That's just absurd. If you have no more entity in and of yourself beyond the lipstick and the eyeshadow and the mascara, or beyond looking in your computer to see if somebody pressed the button that said like, and that is what maintains your positive self-image, not having somebody call you a racist, not having somebody call you this or that, then our global society is in a heap of hurt. If it were true that what this article said, that we need to maintain a positive self-image to stave off anxiety and guilt and preserve social relationships. So let's go to preserve social relationships, because that's the clincher in there. To preserve social relationship means if we need to maintain a positive self-image, if we need to stave off anxiety, if we need to stave off guilt, then somebody in a social relationship with us can use attacking our self-image, attacking us and trying to make us feel guilty, doing anything that creates anxiety, poking at us, holding protests in one part of town, blocking the roads and causing a fire back there so EMS can't get there, taking elements of a video and cutting it off and saying, like if I were to say, pit bulls have a strong bite strength and golden retrievers have a soft mouth. So if you think golden retrievers are more dangerous than pit bulls, you're crazy. Editing that and saying, Candy says pit bulls are more dangerous than golden retrievers. Or wait, I said it backwards. Yeah, stupid. See, look, I made a mistake. I'm not going to delete it. I said it backwards, right? So if I say golden retrievers are, if I were to have said golden retrievers are more dangerous than pit bulls, I'd be crazy, right? I made a mistake. I don't have to preserve my self-image. I don't have to click stop and start it all over and put on makeup because I have to preserve a positive self-image or I will destruct. And that's what the problem is with these people. They have to preserve a positive self-image or they will just implode. They have to stave off anxiety and guilt. They can't be wrong. They can't be less than perfect. They can't be guilty of anything. They will constantly go in circles showing you that they're not guilty. They will constantly do anything to preserve their relationship with you. As long as you're the biggest bully, you're the one the most willing to be mean, cruel, hateful, vindictive, and vengeful. If you're willing to do that, these people who need to maintain a positive self-image and need to stave off anxiety and need to stave off guilt will do anything you ask them to do to preserve that relationship with you, because you are the one the most willing to be mean, cruel, hateful, vindictive, and vengeful. And that's why we see what we're seeing in the Machiavellian, malignant, manipulative, malevolent mass media. That's why we see what we're seeing from liberals. The thing that makes you most susceptible, in my opinion, to believing lies, to being manipulated, is your willingness to assume that everybody thinks like you. Because horrible manipulators do horrible things. And when you go out and tell somebody, this manipulator did this to me, oh no, nobody would ever do that. Or why would anybody do that? Like, I don't have to justify, argue, defend, and explain why some horrible person with horrible motives would do anything. I don't know anything about their motives. I don't know anything about why they would do that. It doesn't matter. We need to deal with the objective reality of the fact that it happened. And that is when and how you can be manipulated. If you think that everybody thinks the same way you do, if you're a nice, kind, loving, upstanding, and forgiving person, and you assume that everybody's a nice, kind, loving, upstanding, and forgiving person, and you can't imagine why somebody would do something horrible, somebody would do something horrible because they're mean, cruel, hateful, vindictive, and vengeful. They're willing to be the biggest bully, and the biggest bully wins because they're willing to be mean, cruel, hateful, vindictive, and vengeful. So let me reiterate. Whether you're conservative or whether you're liberal, whether you're